that screen smaller. There we go. All right. What's up, everybody? It's your good old boy, JR, coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. As always, I got my brother here, Brandon, from Houston, Texas. Brandon, what's going on, man?
Doing good, man. How about you, man?
I'm good. Just today and tomorrow, and then our season is a wrap. Then we get everybody for that super mock draft show on Sunday. And then that's it, man. Our mock season is over. That's enough. That's enough of that. Then we just wait till next Thursday.
Oof.
Yeah, next Thursday, man. That's when we all find out who goes where, and let's see what happens. Let's see what the shockers, the surprises, and the I told you so is going to end up going. So we'll see. We shall see. But today we have a good one. It is the Cincinnati Bengals, the representatives of the AFC. If I would have said that a year ago around this time that the Bengals were going to go to the Super Bowl, I probably would have been locked up, thrown away, and probably drug tested for the rest of my life on every high substance of drugs out there. But sure enough, they made it, man. They made it. They made it to the Super Bowl. That was an amazing feat, and only due to the fact that the Bengals are drafting well and they're signing great free agents. Like they're doing it right, and they got lucky on free agency last year, and then their draft class just, did its thing, and they were one play from winning it all. And it's just unfortunate that had it happened like that. It happens, and now we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but it's very interesting to see how the Bengals are going to respond. But Brandon, you got any words for these Bengal faithful? Another impressive season last year.
Joe Cool.
Yeah, Joe Cool. All right, that dude was amazing, man.
If he would have just had just one decent blocker for that last play, just for 1 second, he could have got Jamar Chase, and this would be a way different conversation.
It would have been reversed. I'll tell you that much. It would have been reversed, I think. But you know what? I think Joe Burrow, listen, that offensive line, it gets the shit it deserves, but that team gets the credit it deserves, because that team did some pretty remarkable things. And you know what? I can't wait to talk about them, because no way should they have been here. But here we go. With the 10-7 record. That's right, I said it. 10-7. Having the 7th best offense. And you wouldn't believe it if I told you they were the 17th best defense, because they did not play like the 17th best defense. That was not the 7th. There's no way you can make me believe their 16th defense is better than them.
I would have to ask, what was the bad part of the defense? It's got to be the run. There's got to be passing. I'm assuming that's probably what held them back. I'm assuming
it's the pass. I guess so, but at the same time, it's like, you're gonna tell me that there's 16 better defenses better than them? You serious? You serious?
Listen.
That's not to hear.
I don't take stats from NFL anymore. When you tell me Buffalo was the number 1 best defense, and then they gave up like 3 touchdowns in like 20 seconds, I'm not about to.
It's a tough deal, but but I look back in this draft class, and I'm going to tell you this: Cincinnati is a young team, and they're going to be young for a long time, and they're going to be winning games for a long time, and they're going to be even better. They're going to get better as the years go on. And let's start off with their first round pick last year, Jamar Chase, who was the best pass catcher in this whole draft.
Juan, let it go.
Atlanta.
Let it go.
For Atlanta.
Let it go, Juan. Let it go. Please let it go, because I'm happy Atlanta drafted Kyle Pitts and not goddamn Jamar Chase. That's amazing. I'm so happy.
Like, it's just, it irks me, because it's like, you have a job. Like, you have a job being an NFL general manager. Like, you? Come on. What's the criteria? Because I'll put in my resume tonight if that's the case. I'll put in my resume right now. What's the criteria? Stephen A, if that's the case, Stephen A should be a general manager, for God's sake.
Oh, God. I was going to say Skip Bayless, but yeah.
I mean, good God. Anyway, Atlanta drafted, or I'm sorry, the Cincinnati Bengals drafted the true best pass catcher in this draft class in Jamar Chase. 81 receptions, 1,455 yards, and 13 touchdowns. By the way, people forget he had a terrible preseason.
God, did he have a terrible
Like,
preseason?
he had it bad. And then it's like, okay.
Do we have to remind people how fast people was like, did they make the right decision?
Like, people were like, oh, wow. Like, maybe Jamar Chase is not it. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, nah, he had the best receiving that you can ask for a rookie since Justin Jefferson. And before that, Randy Moss and all that good stuff. So
Odell
it's like,
Beckham, stuff like that. Yeah.
so understand. Yes, Cincinnati did the right choice. They did the right choice by having a guy that had 13 touchdowns. I mean, he's just a bad motherfucker. It's the
Over a
best way I can
thousand
put it.
yards.
Like, I mean, that dude was just everywhere. I mean, the guy is just a phenomenal athlete, and it's only year one. I can't
Yeah.
wait. And I think that's going to be funny is that Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase's careers are always going to be connected, and to see, okay, let's see who's really better.
I wish I wish Justin Jefferson would have had a quarterback too, because then we really would have seen what he
He
could do.
doesn't need. You know what? He makes Kirk Cousins look amazing because Justin Jefferson is doing just as bad. Like, he's doing just as great.
I, yeah, I guess Kirk Cousins is it's Kirk Cousins. I mean, that's like saying he makes Carson Wentz look good.
Would you be opposed if Justin Jefferson got traded to England and he goes to with a Mac Jones or something like that?
I would love to see it.
Would you be opposed of, let's say, I don't know, maybe Keenan Allen gets old and maybe they do a swap for picks and
Oh,
he goes
good
to or
God.
he goes to the Chargers?
I know you wouldn't like that very much, but I
I
would
would
love it
not
to.
love that very much. I would not love. I'd be like, fuck. This.
I know
I mean,
you
don't get
would
me
be
wrong.
like.
Keenan Allen's a still bad motherfucker, but Justin Jefferson, shit, he's a little bit younger,
I
man.
want to just point out. I just want to say this. I remember we did a preseason show, and I said Justin Jefferson is the best receiver outside. And you guys were like, no, Julio Jones is still in the top 5. And I was like, Justin Jefferson is better than Julio Jones right now. And y'all wanted to literally hang my ass up somewhere because I said that. I just want my credit. I just want my credit.
I gave
Because
you your credit. I've already been giving you your
the
credit.
rest of them, if they're listening, I want my credit for them. I
Okay,
want my
fine. You
credit from
talk to
them.
them. Don't talk to me. Talk to the rest of them. Anyway.
Because I literally remember saying Justin Jefferson is a top 5 receiver now, and Julio Jones is a waste of time in talent right now. And you guys looked at me like I lost my goddamn mind.
I think it's because we were just going off of, look, it was just
Y'all went
1
off
year.
of the history. I get it, but live in the present. I saw it coming.
And don't get me wrong, Justin Jefferson's a bad dude too. Like, that dude's amazing too. So I've already been giving you credit, but let's move on to their second round pick, which is Jackson Carman. So he was actually drafted as an offensive tackle, was backup, but with how everything happened with him in free agency, with Fred Johnson now being gone, he has a chance to be a starting left guard in the NFL. And let me tell you, he did amazing things for Clemson at left tackle. And, Cincinnati views him as a left guard. We might have some problems. Like, Cincinnati might have fixed their offseason their problem in one offseason. And oh no. Like,
I thought Mike Brown doesn't sign free agents. Carson Palmer, what the hell is this?
I don't know. This is a whole new Browns era, I guess. Maybe they
I guess so.
maybe they have a different vote of confidence than the guy that used to wear number 9 in there. But anyway, third round pick 69, Joseph Osai, the defensive end out of Texas. Now, this guy's a stud. He was a stud in Texas. He was, one of the better, talents, being viewed in the draft. And he didn't take a snap because, well, let's face it, you're just not going to get enough snaps when Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard are there. And then they got their backups were already in place. So it's kind of like, hey, look, man, you're going to be part of the team. You're just going to be a healthy scratch, and you're just going to learn. You're going to learn. And I think he'll come into his own down the road. And, for their next round pick, which was, you can ask Cameron Sample, the defensive end out of Tulane, he could tell you There was not a lot of snaps to go around either. He only had 14 tackles and 2 sacks.
Pretty decent.
I mean, for the snaps you're going to get, you better make them count.
Pretty decent.
And then, sticking with the defensive line, 11 picks later, Tyler Shelvin. I don't have to tell you about this guy, the former defensive tackle out of LSU. But listen, man, when Ojabayi was there and BJ Reader's there, or DJ Reader was there, listen, man, you're not going to get snaps, and you only got 4 tackles. And, hey, it happens. It happens, man. Listen, it is what it is. You just got to take your snaps where you can, because they're not going to come out of the field anytime soon. And their other 4th-round pick, 139, Dante Smith, offensive tackle out of East Carolina. He's now their 3rd-string right tackle. He was the backup to Isaiah Prince, but he's 3rd-string now, and we'll get to why he's 3rd-string now. All right, free agency was a motherfucker for Cincinnati this year. Like, it was a motherfucker, man. They did their thing, and I'm so happy that Cincinnati spent the money where they needed to spend it on, because they did. And they did.
They definitely did. Yeah.
5th-round pick. I think this pick was probably second best. I mean, obviously, Jamar Chase was the clear-cut favorite. But if there was a second best pick in this draft class, it was that cool-ass kicker from Florida, man. Evan McPherson. Let me tell you all something, man. This dude went 28 of 33 in his rookie year. All right, 28 of 33 in the field goals. All right. In the postseason, he was perfect, a 14 of 14. This guy is about as automatic as they come. And, people were saying, it's like, well, do you really need to draft kickers? When you're as good as this kicker, yeah, you need to get him.
I remember what was it, Tampa Bay that drafted a Florida State kicker? Remember?
Yeah.
And he did not pan out. And he did not pan out. I just want to say there is some good kickers that you can actually draft. Maybe not high, but where you got him for what he produced, it's a goddamn steal.
And listen, he was already famous before he even stepped onto the field, because he was that dude that put up the crazy videos of him doing crazy stunts, like opening bottle caps with the field goals and, doing crazy stuff. And, he was already famous before he got to Cincinnati. And I think it's just, to only miss 5 field, like, understand he missed one out of 3 games. One every 3 games he missed a field goal. In the postseason, he was perfect. That should tell you everything you need to know about Evan McPherson.
On the road.
On the road, yes, on the road.
Tennessee and going to Arrowhead. Perfect.
Now, he did play at home once, and unfortunately, it was against the Raiders, and he was perfect. And listen, him and Daniel Carlson put up a show.
Yes,
right? Those two, they put up a kicking show, and it was like, you know what? You got a badass kicker? So do we. It's just our defense could not hold up, and our offense, it just wasn't enough that day. It just was not enough that day. And it's okay. I was very happy. I was very pleased on how we performed. Unfortunately, I got to give credit to Cincinnati. They handled their shit. So, and it was just kind of sad, because I knew had we beaten Cincinnati, I know we would have beaten Tennessee. But anyway, that's how messed up it is.
I believed you, because I was with you.
I think everybody was on board with that. I think everybody in America was on board with that. Like, now, do I think
coming back?
Do I think we would have been able to beat Kansas City? Probably not. I'm gonna go on a limb and say no. It probably would have been close.
We'll make it better.
I think it probably would have been better.
I probably would have picked you guys.
I don't know.
After getting your ass whooped,
I know it's hard to win 3 in a row, but
not only is it hard to win 3 in a row, after you got your ass whooped the way y'all got your ass whooped in Arrowhead a couple of weeks before that, yeah, it's probably motivation. I'm just assuming that's probably a different type of motivation.
The what ifs and the what should have, but I mean, I'm glad for Cincinnati. Like I said, I'm very happy for Cincinnati, and it's about time Cincinnati put a formidable team out there, and it's like fans can finally, because they love their Bengals. All they ask is just a little hope, man. They just ask for a little bit of hope, and they finally got it, man. Oh, dude, they got it.
I mean, it's starting to get to the point where like the Ohio's are starting to get like New York's and LA's. It's like, would you really actually switch if Cincinnati is actually a really good team? That's
Not
like the
me. No, personally, me, no, no. I'm stuck with these guys for the rest of my
no. I'm
life.
saying like if you're in Cleveland, and, Cincinnati's a really good team. You're not really a big Cleveland fan. Like I love them because I'm here, but you wouldn't like think about it.
I would think about it. Yeah, of course I would think about it. Like, oh,
You
you know
wouldn't
what?
think
I
about
think
it.
about it. I think
I'm
about
just
it.
saying. Just think about it. I'm just saying. Just think about it.
Now, sixth round pick number 190, they actually found another starter in a center in Trey Hill. He is now backup now for good reasons, and we will get to that in a minute. We will get to that in a minute. Sixth round 202, they drafted Chris Evans, the running back out of Michigan. Third string running back, and it was nothing. Listen, man, he was more of a pass catching running back anyway, and he was never going to be a bell cow, but he did put up 77 rushing yards, which is cool. But in third down situations, when either Joe Mixon couldn't go or Sam Pijerine couldn't go, he answered the call. 15 receptions, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, listen, man, he's exactly what you expected him to be. And seventh round, 235, Wyatt Herbert or Hubert, defensive end out of Kansas State. Did not take one snap because why? Not enough snaps for you, man. If there's not enough snaps for Joseph Osai and Cameron Sample, they ain't simply ain't enough for you, my man. And you know what? It's just listen, they're all gonna learn, and I think it's just an age thing for me. I think once they get better, I think they'll take some snaps and everything. Not right now, obviously, but down the road I could see it happening. But you know, for what Cincinnati did, and listen, Cincinnati had a weird time. Like it was just a weird thing. It's like, they were winning, but nobody really took notice. And it wasn't until the first Baltimore game where Joe Burrow kind of remember at that time Joe Burrow was like, well, he just came off the ACL and he might be injured again. And then those questions of injury just got shut down because that first game against Baltimore in that division game at Baltimore, by the way, he threw over.
After Baltimore just absolutely beat the hell out of the Chargers,
I mean, they smoked them.
smoked them.
And here comes the Bengals on the road, and Joe Burrow lit it up. 500 and plus passing yards. Now, we all figured that could be a fluke. It just happens once in a lifetime. No, 3 weeks later, here they go. Now they're in Cincinnati, and what does he do? Shreds them again. 500 and plus. Put it this way, about 25% of Joe Burrow's passing yards came against the Baltimore Ravens.
He threw for 1,000 yards against one team.
Like
He threw for 1,000 yards against one team. That's
now you can say
incredible.
what you want, injuries and all that stuff, but that should never happen. Not 500 yards. Like that's no. Injuries aside, nah, man, 500 yards. That's too crazy for me.
He maddened these guys. That's a damn shame.
It was Madden and on rookie setting, and he just found the open man. That's what it was. And then they ended up just winning, and then they won again, and then they won the North.
Yeah.
They won the North, and it was like, oh my God, they're gonna host a playoff game.
Yeah.
Then the Raiders came to town. It's like they beat them after the crazy season the Raiders had. It's like, if there was two teams that had crazy seasons, it was these two guys. And it's like, oh my God, they were just a little bit more crazier that night. Then they go to, they had to go to freaking who they played. They had to go to Tennessee, which we all kind of see. That's how bad Tennessee was. I totally forgot that they beat them. Like, I totally thought like, oh, okay, well they beat the Raiders, and they went, no, I totally forgot that they played Tennessee in the middle. That's what I'm saying. It's like, listen, I know you guys were the number one seed, but it's like, be real for a second. Just be real for a second. Like there was only like two teams that we had, that we didn't really have that much faith in of winning the whole damn thing. And you guys were one of the two damn teams, okay? Like the other one was Pittsburgh. So it was like, no, man, like understand, like we thought New England can go farther than fucking Tennessee at one point. Like that's how bad it was. So no disrespect to Tennessee. It's just, hey, look, man.
Listen, if Tennessee would have not been the number one seed, I probably would have picked New England to beat Tennessee.
See what I mean? Like, you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? Like, but then they beat Tennessee, and they beat It's not the fact that they beat Tennessee. It's just they outplayed them in their own game. Like, that's the problem. Like, that was the problem. Like, understand, Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times, and that was still not enough. Then they go to Arrowhead, and, the first half, it's like, oh, I'm already hearing, everybody. Kansas City's going back to the Super Bowl for the 3rd straight year in a row. This is unfair, and blah, 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 blah. All right, whatever. Well, I don't know what team came out in the second half, but that was not the same Bengals that came out that left the first half, because that second half was all Bengals. That was all Bengals. And came back and they tied it. And then comes overtime, the dreaded overtime, where Kansas City won the coin toss again. And Buffalo fans are thinking, whoop, that's Cincinnati's year. And then guess what? Buffalo, you can actually play defense in overtime. Yeah. You can actually play defense in overtime. You don't have to bitch and complain that we didn't get the ball back. You can actually play defense. You can. And they did. And they beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead. They beat them at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
And then, they go to Los Angeles. And listen, those guys put up the best fight. Like, that was probably one of the Rams' toughest games that whole year.
Yeah.
Like, understand this. Had OBJ not gotten hurt, it probably would have been a blowout. I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't know.
I mean, it probably would have been a blowout because there was no answer for OBJ until he got hurt. And then Jalen Ramsey, man, I don't know who had a worse performance, Eli Apple or Jalen Ramsey, because it was both pretty close.
Jalen Ramsey got saved because Eli Apple gave up the game-winning touchdown.
Exactly. That's the only thing. Like, understand this. When Jalen Ramsey giving up touchdowns to Jamar Chase, and then how did Cincinnati open the second half? With a one-play, 83-yard bomb from Joe Burrow to T. Higgins. And who was covering T. Higgins? Jalen Ramsey. Now, of course, we can all say that, there was a face mask involved and everything. But I want people to understand this. The new overtime rules suck. Why? Because Buffalo and a bunch of other people have been bitching and complaining for years that the other team didn't get the football. Well, you know what? They're called professionals. Not college anymore. They're called professionals. And I think it's a bullcrap rule. It is a bullcrap rule because we went to 6 overtime games this year, and the Raiders went 3-3. And what do I always say? Sometimes you win them, sometimes you don't, because that's overtime. You know what I call overtime? It means that both of you guys sucked so bad that we need another 15 minutes to play. That's what overtime means to me. So if you guys want to bitch and complain because you couldn't finish out the job, then you know what? Bitch and complain all you want. And that's what I'm going to keep on, the Buffalo bitches. Until they win, Buffalo bitches. That's all I got.
I literally remember when I was a kid watching the Rams and Carolina playing a double overtime playoff game. Not the only one that remembers this. Steve Smith catches the damn pass from Jake Delhomme and takes it to the house.
Yeah.
In double overtime.
Mm-hmm.
What does the Rams have to say? We just lost. I don't know what the fuck we're going to say. Like, they lost. What the hell do you guys want? I don't understand it. Listen, I didn't like the damn playoff rule after we won because that's why the goddamn playoff rule got changed. Because we beat the fucking Vikings. Same thing. They were bitching and moaning and complaining about us kicking a field goal after we got the ball and winning the game. It's like, we won the coin toss. What do you want us to do? Stop us. If you really believe in yourself, stop us.
And that's the thing. It's like, overtime to me, I call it, you guys suck. Both teams sucked so bad for 60 minutes that we need another 15 to get a winner. Now, you can only imagine how I really felt when Detroit and Pittsburgh tied. You can only imagine what I was thinking on that show, on that night, on my podcast. Like, you can only imagine what I was thinking. And you can totally tune back. It is there on Spotify for the world to hear. Okay? Here's the thing about it. This is where I'm going to fall into line. I'm going to fall into line for 2 things. One, if people want to complain about the overtime rule, then we got to be fair about it. Then we have to be fair about it. It can't be, well, if I score a touchdown, he scored a touchdown, next touchdown went. No, go all the way. Until a defense stops somebody, that's when the game ends. If you guys want to play like college kids, then play like college kids. Me personally, I hate the rule. And I'm gonna for the rest of my life, I'm gonna call it the Buffalo Bitches rule. That's what I'm gonna call it, the Buffalo Bitches rule.
I hate to think what you call the Tom Brady Tuck rule.
Mm-hmm.
I hate what you think. I hate to I shudder with what you thought about the Tom Brady Tuck rule.
Shit, you don't want to know, man. You don't want to know, man. But anyway, so Cincinnati puts up a big fight. They put up a big fight against the Rams, and they were this close to winning it. And then the last play, I mean, listen, the best offensive lineman can't even guard Aaron Donald, so it's okay. I can at least say Cincinnati put up a good fight. It just that night it was not enough. If you were to tell me these two teams are going to play 9 more times, honest to God, I think Cincinnati can take 4 of them, and the Rams can win 6. Honest to God, because I think that's how much belief we had in Cincinnati, and I think that's how much belief they had in themselves.
Yeah, I think that's how much belief they had.
I think Joe Burrow probably went to the locker room and said, "Give me a 6-pack and let me smoke 2 stogies, and give me about 30 minutes. I think we can take these guys." Honest to God. And I probably would have believed them, to be honest with you. Probably would have believed them too. But it just, you only get one game, one chance. Now we'll never know. Unless they both make it back there again. It's like, hey, let's play again. But the chances of that happening, pretty hard, man. That's a pretty hard deal to go with. But, season's over, and, I think there was more celebration. Like, there was more fans celebrating the Cincinnati loss than the Rams winning. Because, like, I saw 2 different parades. Like, if you were to put the play-by-play of the 2 parades, you would think that Cincinnati won the fucking Super Bowl, You would think that they won the Super Bowl because of how happy they were and everything. I saw the Rams parade. That was terrible. It shows you how long, like, even though the Rams brought in a Super Bowl, shows you who really runs the town.
Yeah, nobody cared. Not a soul.
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared. Not a soul.
Like, yeah, there was a few. I'm sure there was a few diehards, but it's like, whatever. Whatever, man. But then, free agency happens, and this is where, Cincinnati really gets interesting. Because, they lose CJ Uzmuza, which I thought that sucked.
Yeah.
But he's going to go to the Jets, and you know what? I think he's another pass catching option for Zach Wilson. And I think he's still going to do wonders in the Jets. Not that the Jets are going to be any better, but he's going to bring some offense life to that Jets offense. Darius Phillips is now heading to Las Vegas. He's actually here right now. Fred Johnson is going to Tampa Bay. And Auden Tate is going to Atlanta, the 4th unforgotten wide receiver on that team. And it's for good reasons, because Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase are really good at what they do. So
really, really, really good. Really, really, really.
So it's understandable. But they did re-sign Eli Apple. I don't know why, but they did. Josh Tuopo is still going to be a Bengal. Stanley Morgan, the wide receiver, he's going to be coming back. Trey Flowers, he's going to be back into the nickel slot of things because, Chidobe Awuzie is the starter. So that's still a thing. Brandon Allen, the famous backup quarterback, is going to be back as being the famous backup quarterback. Now, Michael Thomas, the safety, is, he's, back to back up, Jesse Bates and all that stuff. And then Mike Thomas, not Michael Thomas, but Mike Thomas, the wide receiver, is coming back for one more year for Cincinnati. And I'm going to tell you, I think Cincinnati got the message loud and clear on, what their biggest issue was. Literally the second free agency opened, the first news I saw on my feed, bam, Alex Kappa signed a 4-year, $44 million deal to go to Tampa Bay, or to go to Cincinnati. It was like, click. Like, yo, did you not want to let free agency at least see what's happening? Nope. Cincinnati came in with the contract right away. And how did they back it up 2 hours later? Ted Karras, the center from New England, a two-time Super Bowl center champion, is now heading to Cincinnati. And that's why I say Trey Hill is now the backup to Ted Karras. So, and they didn't stop there. The reason why Mr. Deontay Smith is now the third string right tackle is because they signed La'el Collins to be their right tackle. So if you're looking at it now, we have Jonah Williams as your left tackle. You got, as of right now, Jackson Carman. He's your left guard, the lineman that you drafted in the second round last year. I'm sure you didn't draft him in the second for him to sit on the bench. I'll tell you that much. You got Ted Karras as your center, Alex Kappa as your right guard, and La'el Collins as your right tackle. If I didn't know any better,
then they fixed it. Then they fixed the problem.
I think they fixed their offensive line issue.
Yeah, then they fixed the problem.
Yeah. And as far as I know, they're all still young. Hey, what's going on, Mike? And don't worry, man. Don't worry. We're just talking about how the Bengals fixed their offensive line issue after Carson Palmer said on national radio that Mike Brown does not spend money in free agency. Well, here you go. Here you go. They also signed Hayden Hurst and Nick Eubanks, the two tight ends. One tight end from Atlanta and the other one from Detroit. So to say that they're still going to be running Joe Mixon and that they're going to pass when they want to pass, I have no problem. I have no forewarning saying that I think the Cincinnati Bengals offense is going to be just fine.
Really?
I think it's going to be okay.
Really?
If everyone's healthy, yeah, I think it's going to be okay.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But now I think the bigger issue is, I think me and you can agree, it's still that defense. I mean, we said it. They can get after the quarterback and, they can stop the run. But the problem is, it's that the ball gets out. The secondary is not there. And listen, Jesse Bates is a good safety. Von Bell is a good safety. But they can only do so much. We already know how we feel about Eli Apple. And we already know how we feel about Chidobe Awuzie. Okay, we already know Trey Flowers is back, which is fine. Let's go Eli Apple. Oh, God. Yes.
Yes. Let's go Eli Apple to, the unemployment line. I don't know why the hell he's on the football team. I have no clue.
He played for you guys for a little bit. He did all right, right? We can move on. Anyway, I mean, trust me, he came to practice. He came to practice with us, and after a day, we told him, "Hey, man, it's just not for you." But good luck, man.
At least you guys knew immediately in the practice, yeah, he sucks. You guys, at least you knew immediately in the practice, yep, he sucks.
Hey, listen, man, we wish you the best. It's just not going to be with us. God. But
that's a thief. Now he steals people's money. That is just ridiculous. For what for what he is getting paid, he should take a goddamn discount. Matter of fact, you should play for free.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, it never gets better. It's like, he's gonna go, this team is gonna turn it around. He's still the same guy.
It don't get better. It don't. It just stay the same or it gets worse. It's
like, wow. Like, the Giants thing was a fiasco. The Saints thing was a fiasco. We only had him in practice for a day, and he's like, hey, it's just not going to be for us, man. Good luck to you. Cincinnati took him because they had injuries all across the board, and they needed help. But even then, it was kind of like, oh, my God. So I have a feeling I think I know where you're going to go. But, we'll see. We'll see. So I think the Bengals are going to – I think now the Bengals have a target on their head, so I don't think it's going to be easier for them to kind of slid, because I think the expectation is for them to get back sooner rather than later, and I think eventually win one. And as long as Joe Burrow's great, but we got to understand he has health problems. He does have his health issues. But if they can keep him straight and not take the hits anymore, and he's healthy, then I think the sky's the limit for Cincinnati, as long as Joe Burrow is cool, calm, and collective, and he's kept clean in the pocket. So here we go. 31 pick. Everybody's already drunk in Vegas. Nobody gives a shit anymore. We're just kind of partying at this point. We're waiting for Ice Cube to perform because that was announced today that Ice Cube and Weezer is going to perform at the NFL draft. So, yay me. Yay me. But anyway, Brandon, here comes Roger Goodell for almost one of the last times for night one. He has the card in his hand. Who is Cincinnati going to select at pick number 31?
All right. While Roger Goodell's getting booed out of his socks, just because he's Roger Goodell.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
They're gonna boo the hell out of that man. From 1 to 32, they're gonna boo the hell out of him. The 31st pick in the 2022 draft, the Cincinnati Bengals will select Kaiser Elam, cornerback, Florida.
Nice.
I think he fits them. He knows the division. Let's just put that into perspective. He knows the division. I'm pretty sure he's been to a couple of AFC North games before. Pretty sure. I'm just guessing. I'm assuming he has a family member that played at Baltimore. I'm just assuming. Also from the Florida tree. I'm just assuming he knows the AFC North. I think, like we've been saying, Eli Apple sucks. I don't know why you would resign him. And to be honest with you, I think if you draft him, I think Eli Apples gets fired literally 2 weeks into practice. That's just my opinion. I'm just assuming. You probably see the rookie and was like, yep, that's our number 201. We're good. We don't need him anymore. We're good. We don't need him anymore. We're good. Like, we know at least that is 100% secure. We don't have to worry about that. And we have now a slot corner. So I think that they are going to be very ready. I mean, did they lose also Mike Hilton?
No, Mike Hilton is still on the team.
Oh, yeah. So the secondary is pretty good. I mean, you're good after that. Get rid of Eli Apple.
Because at this point, what you would think is with your pick, Kazir Elam, you have Chidobe Awuzie, you got Trey Flowers back, and you got Mike Hughes. It's like, dude, those, okay, you got veterans and you got a youngster to prep. So it's good. It's going to be fine.
And then you have a cornerback that you're paying money to that is literally stealing your money. He is literally stealing your money because you know like, damn well he's not worth the production.
I have burnt toast before, but that dude takes the cake, man. That dude is like, bro. Like I've burnt like to the point where it's almost all black. That dude is like burnt. Like if you try to take it out of the freaking toaster, it just disintegrates into dust, man. That's Eli Apple, my man.
I literally posted a couple of days ago the Madden cover of Cooper Kupp.
Oh, the one with
Cooper Kupp the game with a touchdown.
Yeah.
Over, all he says is back in his jersey. He wasn't even close. Like, this is how bad it was. He wasn't even close.
He was almost out of the shot.
He didn't have a shot.
Out of the shot. I get it. That's Cooper Kupp, and he does that to a lot of people. But it's like, come on, man.
The picture makes it worse. The picture makes it worse. It makes it seem like you never had a goddamn shot.
You know what? I think Mike's got a point. They're keeping him under contract just to not hear from his mama. I think Mike's got a point. But, okay. Now, you know how I feel about Kazir Elam. All right. I had him going way earlier than 31. I mean, because I think he's just that good of a corner. You know, I had him way earlier. Way earlier. Now, here's my selection. Now, I'm going to go corner as well. Now, as you can tell, I pretty much named every single corner you could think of.
Pretty much.
Every corner you could think of.
Pretty
and
much.
You're thinking to yourself, oh my God, you have a lot of corners and no quarterbacks. What the hell kind of draft is this? Well, I'm going to go cornerback as well. And I'm actually going to go a corner who's actually sneaking into the first round. And people like him. Like, I mean, scouts rave about him. And it's weird because just a few weeks ago, prior to the combine, he was, mid-second. But after everything, the interviews and the film and his 40, it was kind of like, you know what? Yeah, he's going to sneak into the first round. And I think if this corner's still there, and listen, Cincinnati can go in. This is a situation where Cincinnati can even trade down and get some picks for the future if they wanted to.
I think they might too.
if they wanted to. But if there's a corner still there, and I think if this corner's still there, I can see this happening. So for the 31st pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals will select Kyler Gordon, cornerback, Washington. Yes, that guy. That guy, him and Trent McDuffie are was probably one of the best cornerback duels in college football that we're ever going to see in a really, just really long. Like, understand this: Alabama hasn't even had duo cornerbacks like that. These two out of Washington did their thing in 2021. Like, understand this: 45 tackles, one forced fumble, two interceptions, and 7 pass deflections. And he's the same mold as Trent McDuffie, 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's almost the same mold. He's almost the same player. You can't tell which is which because they play their position so well. And, people already, the best comparison I could find to Kyler Gordon, honest to God, is Byron Jones.
Wow.
He could play corner. He could play safety. He could play your nickel corner. And you know what? I think he's that good. I think he's that good where Cincinnati is really in need of a corner, and he's still there. And here's the thing. If Von Bell goes, if Jesse, because we don't even know the contract situation with Jesse Bates.
Yeah.
Let's say he doesn't get a new contract next year. You can move Kyler Gordon to the free safety spot, and it's like, oh, dude, we got our free safety. We're good. We're good. And I think he just brings it. Now, he ain't no speedster like Drax Teal from Michigan, but he knows his coverages. He's very intelligent. And I think he'd be a perfect fit for Cincinnati for what they want to run. And I think corners are their only weakness on this team. That's really it. They got their linemen. They got their linebackers. They just need secondary help. They not at the safety position entirely.
Corners.
But at the cornerbacks, they can get away with the top corner. And listen, who knows if they have to go corner again next year? But if Jesse Bates stays, then hey, you got your corner and you got emergency safety on the roster already. If he goes, well, you got your starting corner on the roster already. I do not see why this would not make a perfect sense. And you know what? At that point, for Cincinnati, it would just be a luxury pick for them at this point if they were to go with the Kyler Gordon at that point. So not very often you get to hear luxury pick Cincinnati. Not very often you get to hear that, but they deserve it. And should they get either one of the two cornerbacks that we did name, I think they figured out their whole roster. And then at that point, and listen, Cincinnati could be a team that we could watch out for, and they could probably possibly trade down out of the first entirely. So we'll see what happens. But, I just, like I said, I think for Cincinnati, I think we all know what the expectations are.
Yeah.
Do I think they could come back and do it? Absolutely. Is it going to be easy? No.
God, no.
But as long as, like I said, if this offensive line unit that they paid in free agency works out and they all can click and Joe Burrow can stay clean and he can see the field, we're probably looking at a Bengals team that's going to run the AFC North for a very, very long time. So we'll see. We'll see. But other than that, folks, that's going to do it for today's episode. It's always fun to talk to you, Brendan, my man, in regards to see who we think they're going to select. Tomorrow, it's our season finale. Dun, dun, dun. That's right. Pick number 32. We're going to be talking about the Rams, but Detroit will make their selection. That will end the first round. Sunday, we have our Super Draft mock show where it's going to be me, Brandon, our good friend EJ, and two guys from the podcast world, Nick and Noah with the Pick Six podcast. They will be joining us for Sunday, our Super Mock Draft Show. We're going to make all the selections for all 32 teams on Sunday. After that, that is it. That is a wrap for season 3 of the mock draft. So tomorrow it's a celebration of the end, but it just means that we're getting closer to draft day, and I cannot wait. It's going to be exciting, especially since it's right here in my backyard. Honest to God, it's just right here. But I'm excited for it, and I cannot wait. So tomorrow it's going to be Detroit is on the clock, but we're going to be talking about the Rams. And dare I? Dare I? Dare I go quarterback at number 32? Dare I? Because as of right now, I got zero. I have 0 quarterbacks in the first round. But dare I? Do I want to put Jared Goff through that again? Do I? Or do I take the best player available that's still out there? We'll see. We shall see. But that's going to be tomorrow. So please tune in, and thank you everybody for tuning in this year and for every single episode. I do appreciate you guys very much. As always, I'm your good old boy JR. That is Brandon. We will talk to you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Tomorrow is pick number 32, so it should be a fun one, and we will see how it goes. Until then, talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.